So next we have Commissioner Gal, who's going to perform double duty for us. He's going to bring us just a glimpse of some of the things that are happening in the life of the Commissioner Gal. I'm sorry, I missed.
All right, I did this by ChatGPT, so we'll see how this goes. Good morning. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a heck of a time trying to figure out how to dress. So
Hey, right.
I'm all over the place. I'm very excited to be here. I know that it's because of my delivering my communication skills that I'm able to be here this morning. Actually, what it was is they just said, "Hey, get Commissioner Gal. He talks quick and short and to the point. We can all get out of here on time." So I will make this brief, and I'll leave it up to you on how brilliant it is. Chapter 1. Kidding. Just some of the things that are going on. Our old City Hall, if you haven't noticed, it's down. We were kind of going to leave the slab there. We were concerned about the oak tree that's there, as we all should be concerned about the tree. But we had concerns about leaving the slab up as well once we got the City Hall down. So we're gently and sensitively trying to remove most of that foundation. So that's going along swimmingly. Golf carts. How many of you guys have golf carts in the city? Okay, if you haven't heard, we are no longer requiring registration on those. So you're going to be freewheeling it. So just be cautious of your cars, pedestrians, bicyclists out on the road, as hopefully they are to you as well. Parks and projects last month, MLK, they're redoing their gymnasium floor, and it looks wonderfully. Dunedin Golf Club purchased golf carts. Okay, we're getting new golf carts for the club, but they're not going to be here until the ribbon cutting. So it takes a while to get those. So we're excited about our new golf carts. We mentioned the windlasses, and we had a wonderful ceremony yesterday at our sailing center, and the ribbon cutting there. We actually redid our pram shed, and it's now the sailing center, and it was just gorgeous. How many of you guys have any association with the sailing center at all? The pram shed. I know I was asked yesterday when the last time I was in the sailing center, the pram shed, and I want to say it was 1968 probably, which actually is a rite of passage for any child that's being raised in Dunedin to actually learn to sail on the beautiful water. So that's a wonderful organization. Please support them in any way that you can. Our freebie loop is still going strong. The numbers look good. We're at 1,100 to 1,300 riders per month, and the operating times are Thursday, Sunday, and weekly. So I don't know why they put Thursday through Sunday when it's weekly. Let me see. Utilities on Salon Avenue, if you've been disrupted by that, we do apologize. But we have Force Main project is going well, as well as our fiber optic. Our plug and play. So if you have an EV station, we've kind of changed our relationship with Duke with our charging stations that they have taken over some of them, and we're starting to charge on those charging stations. It seems fitting. And so the idea of the charging is just kind of replace the cost of what it is that we had to pay for Duke to pay the installation of the charging station. So it's certainly not a revenue generator, but giving us the opportunity to cover costs and maybe build a little for future charging stations. City managers update. There's a wonderful report that we get. Just things where I want to acknowledge. It is pipe band season. If y'all have ever heard of that, there actually is a season, and it started last Saturday at our Central Florida Holly Games. Our City Dunedin pipe band came in first, followed by our high school that came in second. So we had a wonderful turnout. On the solo side for piping, drumming, and dancing, we had amazing medals. Our kids brought home a lot of bling. So please support our piping programs, our Scottish cultures, and our identity. It's really important. And so other than that, thank you guys very much. Yeah. Right now I'm stepping up front, changing hats. All right, and this is where I really shine. So Okay, not sure how I really do this, but let me see, according to my notes, will the nominated DCO directors please come to the front? Come forward and be recognized. Oh, this is a good looking group. This is calendar material. I'm excited to be here. Well, doing this together, not sure where I stand. All right, hopefully this looks good. And I want to face the front. I don't know what direction to that. Seriously, Commissioner, just face the front. Members, these are the slate of officers and directors nominated to the DCO board. Support them to keep this an active organization, upholding the mission and goals of the Dunedin Council of Organizations. To the nominated officers and directors, please raise your hand and reply with yes for the tasks asked of you. You solemnly pledge, and you guys have to make sure that their hands are raised. Okay, report them, shout them out. Do you solemnly pledge to faithfully execute the duties of the Dunedin Council of Organizations to the best of your knowledge and ability? Okay, directors, say yes. Do you pledge to commit yourself to the objectives of the organization and promote the organization in the city of Dunedin?
Yes.
Okay, directors, all right. By the authority vested in me as the commissioner of the city of Dunedin, hands down. By the authority vested in me as commissioner of the city of Dunedin, installing officials today, I now declare you all duly installed officers and directors of the Dunedin Council of Organizations. Let me congratulate you individually and collectively as new officers and directors of DCO and offer my best wishes for a successful year. Well done. Well done. To follow.
Okay.
So since Stephanie wasn't able to be here, she did request that Victor officially receive the gavel. So there's no backing out now.
This thing works? I guess it does. Next on our program, I have the opportunity and the pleasure to bring forward Mr. Jim Ray, who's our city executive for the city of Dunedin for South State Bank. He opened that branch. I know this. It opened on 2/10/14, so coming up on 10 years.
Yeah, Victor's lucky, he gets his pastor to pray for him, from his administration. And then he gets to be the, we're the sponsor, the spotlight. It's hard to believe this is about my fourth or fifth time that I've been able to do this. And 10 years ago, we opened that office and we were Platinum Bank. Platinum was a small community bank and it was a great time. Then 7 years ago, Center State Bank, which is headquartered in Winter Haven, bought us. When you get bought, it's sometimes you're upset about it, but it turned out to be a good purchase. They treated us well, and we had more services than we had when we were a small community bank. Well, then 3 years ago, we did a merger of equals with a bank out of South Carolina, and we changed our name to South State Bank. So, again, here we are changing our name, going from, again, when we were Platinum Bank, we were 600 million, which is small for a community bank. Today, we're $45 billion. We're located in 7 states, 300 offices. But that doesn't mean anything to you guys. I mean, what means the most to you is the local bank. When we were Platinum, we had a branch manager called Sarah Byers. I don't know if anybody remembers Sarah. Sarah was I loved working with her, and then she up and retired 4.5 years ago. Well, the bank was very wise and smart, And we hired a superstar when we got Victor to replace Sarah. And so, you know, what matters the most is, yeah, Platinum was really a commercial bank. We had some consumer products, but not much. The great thing about South State Bank is that we offer everything that the big banks offer. We have every consumer product. Victor and his team does a great job. And a lot of you guys have been in the bank before. I've seen you. We've had events there, and we appreciate your business very much. And hopefully when you come in, you've been welcomed and get to deal with Victor and Michael, and they've done a great job. And now, you know, we have a lot of services that we didn't have before for businesses, small business loans, all the way up to large business loans. We have investment services, we have private banking, we have mortgage lending. And so that's good. And it's been done well. And it's because of the local team. What matters the most is not the name on the building, as you guys know. No one goes to a bank because it's South State Bank. You go there because of the people inside. And the people that we have inside now are outstanding. Victor and I both live here. We work here, we play here. And so for us, we have to treat people right, because I may see you then the next night out at Dunedin Brewery. So I've got to treat everybody right. And I know Victor and his team does that. A little tidbit of information, I was born here. So over 65 years ago, I was born at Morton Plant Hospital, raised here, been here my whole life. So this community matters to me. And what I love about South State is that they continued on with Platinum and Center State. We care about the community. And Victor is involved in it. He could be on every board. We laugh about that. And he picks and chooses the ones that matter the most to him, and DCO is one of them. And so Victor has done a great job. I'm very proud to call him a friend, that he is also now the chairman or the president, with the director, what's the, so he's the president, and he's also the president of the Clearwater Draft. So, you know, and there's, is that it?
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
enough. That's enough.
Well, we're thankful for you guys. We're thankful for this community. And you need anything with banking services, John will tell you, we're giving out money. And we love to see you guys help. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
By the way, I iterate everything Jim said. I've known them for 6-7 years. That's the friendliest place to go in. They turn me down every time, but it's very, very friendly. Okay. So our program today, Jason Williams to my right, has been a resident for 15 years in Dunedin. He has 3 daughters, the latest of whom was born 8 months ago. So how about that? And he was named the vice president of competitive. That's what they name it for the soccer, Stirling soccer here. And what that means, well, I'll let him say it. Okay, there are 3 segments of the soccer club. He'll tell you about that. Anyway, he was named that in 2023, so fairly recently. And the goal is restoring one of Pinellas County's historic clubs to a leadership role in the youth soccer area. And I think that's a fabulous thing for kids to do. So without further ado, here is Jason Williams.
Good morning, everyone. I want you to look behind us and see our lovely PowerPoint. That's not going to be shown this morning. Yeah, issues is what it is. So I need you to imagine everybody, all the pictures of all the kids playing soccer behind us. All right, that's all I need you to see. So yeah, I'm with Dunedin Stirling Soccer Club. We've been around since the 1970s. The funny thing about it is, people in this room, I'm sure I meet tons of people every day where they have some sort of connection to it, where their kid's been in soccer or they've been on our board. There's actually 2 old with people here from our board back in the day. You know, it comes and goes, and there's a transition every now and then. So I'm also here. I'm joined with Daniela. She's back in the back corner back there, who's our president. But I'm the vice president of competitive. So where you can find us, where we're at, we are over just behind Frank's Pizza. Publix area, Publix on Main Street. We're just behind there, the extra facility. You can barely even see it from the main streets. Even though there's big flashy lights at night, you can barely even see it from the outside. But we're back there. There's 4 grass fields back there, along with the clubhouse. With the clubhouse, or the actual soccer club, we have, like he said, 3 divisions: a competitive division, a recreational division, and an academy division. So we take care of kids from all the ages of 2 up to 18 years old. So we have kids who really don't know what's going on versus kids who literally at the end don't want to be there because they're 18 and they want to be out doing other things. But most of the kids, eventually over the course of time, you'll find that all the kids out there love being there and love playing the game. So we're there. The competitive side of the house goes from August until April on those fields. The recreational side, we have two different seasons. One's in the fall, one's in the spring. The academy division, which is the kids from ages of 2 to 8, go 3 different times: fall, winter, and spring. And then we have camps for every time the kids are out of school. So you've got, summer, you've got spring break, and you have like every major holiday or so. If your kid needs to go somewhere while you're going to work, we usually have some sort of program for you guys to go out there and have them run the energy out. But then the fields also are used for men's leagues, as well as middle schools actually use the fields for their games, as well as high school practices. The Dunedin High School uses it for their practices. In the summer, there's actually other local clubs who use it because some of their facilities are shut down. What do we offer? So basically, we try to develop soccer players, and again, the ages from 2 up to 18 years old. We've been doing it since the 1970s. Every year, we run through about 1,000 families come through, depending on all those different programs. We've done, and this is just an estimate because there are no records back from when you guys were around. We have gone through at least 30,000 different families, at least, and that's just a lowballing, I'm sure. The recreational program, we go through a league called GISA, as well as we do a spring in-house tournament, which we bring kids from all over the area. The competitive side, we have a long season, one big long season, but competitive side, we try to stay as low cost as possible. So our funding from the kids is we try to keep it as low to keep as many kids in the program as possible, even though we have to pay our coaches and all the equipment and everything. But we are the absolute lowest cost of any other club out there. And there are a lot of clubs out there. When these guys used to be part of the club, they were competing against like 4 or 5 other clubs. Well, now there's at least, 40 or 50 or different clubs out there, and they're huge. Yeah. But the money goes into the bigger clubs. And so it's hard to compete, but we do what we do. We try to stay, as positive as possible and try to, grow the community in the area. So at the moment, we're doing a really good job about it too. So we have 2 players that were actually just chosen to be part of the Olympic development program.
Wow.
So we have kids who, again, 2-year-olds, they've grown with us their entire lives, and now they're going into the Olympic development program. One of them specifically he's a keeper, and you're going to see him, I guarantee you, somewhere. He's going to either go professional or he's going to be D1. He's an amazing kid. He's a big boy. What sets us apart is we try to be a family-oriented club. There's a lot of clubs out there that are strictly about money. We are not about money. We'll take any individual family and we'll deal with their individual needs on a daily basis. And each one of our board members will go and we'll sit down with any individual family and try to help them grow, their child grow, and figure out what that child needs. So we try to be just a family-oriented club. Problem with that is that the system is set up for soccer to be a pay-to-play system. What that means is essentially any kid has to pay a fortune to get out there and play. Whereas everywhere else in the world, it is free to play soccer. And it's not called soccer, it's called football everywhere else. So we do everything different here. What we do is we take if we have any extra funds, what we do is we give out scholarships to kids. So we don't make the kids who don't have the funds to play, we don't make them pay. We give them scholarships, and we gave out $15,000 in scholarships last year. And we'd love to grow that up to $100,000 because there's so many kids out there that just can't afford to play. We are active in the community all over the place. We volunteer everywhere. We're part of the WD Wars that's out here. We're going to be helping out with the Valspar tournament with our good friends over here, Chichi Rodriguez. And all of our kids who want to volunteer, they get Bright Futures program. So we deal with the high school, and we get volunteers from all the high school kids who play in the area who want to be part of our club. We'll find them opportunities to volunteer, and they'll get Bright Futures so those kids can go to college. I just went over some of the community experiences, but we also do, just read down the list here. We did the Dunedin Holiday Parade. You guys have seen us out there. It's where I met Mr. Blair here.
Yeah.
So he saw me running down. I had at least, I think it was 100 something kids running down the middle of that street, and we try to control them. But hey, go out, have fun. You know? It's like, thankfully there were barriers, so they couldn't get out. But they love being part of it because they want to show off their jerseys. They're proud of wearing that crest, wearing this crest. So when those kids come and join us, and we ask them, do you want to go be part of the parade? Those 100 kids, it filled up like that. We said because the city only allows a certain amount of people to get out there, that list filled up in a matter of minutes. But those kids really love being out there and being part of that. We have that keeper I was just talking about was in Keeper Wars, which is a national program, and he got like second place in the entire country. So again, you're going to see him. We do spirit nights, we do trunk or treats, we do movie nights for all of our kids, and we bring in kids from around the area to do at our facilities. We have an annual recreational tournament that brings in kids from all over the county. Back to school bashes, Great American Teach-In. We go out and we try to teach kids about the greatness of soccer and the benefits of it. Celtic Music Festival, we're part of that. Yeah, so we go out there, we do a lot of different appearances in order to get the word out there about soccer. Why you should care about soccer. Number one, it is the most played sport in the world. You know, so it's tough in the United States, you know, and an older generation doesn't understand sometimes when you see soccer out there. You see, everybody knows about baseball. I grew up playing baseball. I was a baseball player, so I didn't really focus on soccer so much. I've gravitated to it because I have my 3 daughters and they love playing soccer. So I now know everything there is to know about soccer. Not even close, actually. Not even close. I might know 2%. But what is amazing to me, and I'm sure you guys see it, is when that World Cup comes around, the whole world stops. Everybody watches it. Well, I didn't know this. I mean, you look at the simple numbers. FIFA World Cup, they pulled in $5.7 billion last year just in that, just for that. The TV rights alone pulled in $2.9 billion. 49%, let me read some great stats here. 49% of U.S. adults ages 18 to 35 call themselves avid fans. They're huge fans. It's the younger crew, 18 to 35, 50% of the United States. In the 2018, a study, 43% of the world's population identified themselves, 43% of the world's population identified themselves as huge soccer fans. 250 million people play the game on a regular basis. In 2010, only 17% of Americans said they followed soccer. Now it's 32% in 10 years. So in 10, 12 years, now the popularity of the sport is growing exponentially in the United States, and it's a younger person that wants to go out and play it. Most importantly, children, what they do is they gain the developmental skills, the physical skills, the exercise. They learn they learn teamwork. They learn how to do fair play. They learn their own self-esteem, how to overcome obstacles, how to overcome adversity. It's a great game. USA Soccer, you guys, obviously I just talked about World Cup. Did you know the U.S. women's team has been ranked #1 in the world for the last 17 years, off and on? 17 years. Women's, 5,715 straight days they've been the world #1 team. The Germans took over for a little bit, and I think they're #1 now after this past World Cup. But they won the World Cup in 1991, 1999, 2015, and 2019. The U.S. men's national team is actually ranked #12 in the world, so they got some catching up to do. But they actually made the round of 16 this year in the World Cup. And whereas the previous time, they didn't even make it. So they're doing a little better. They got some better players out there. It's a younger crowd. They'll get better. Youth soccer / football in the United States. Some simple stats. 1.75 billion children play soccer in the United States. I'm sorry, 1.75 billion play soccer in the world. 7.4% of children ages 4 to 17 play soccer in the United States. Okay, so 7.4% of the kids. The U.S. again is the pay-to-play system, which does not benefit the family or does not benefit the kids themselves, because they have to actually figure out if a parent is struggling to actually pay. Obviously, it's going to be a struggle in the house. Again, everywhere else in the world, soccer is free. A University of Utah study last year's figured out that the average household pays $2,292 a year for a kid to play soccer. It's a lot of money to play soccer. The average family, 43% of the participants who play soccer have an average income level in the family of $100,000 a year. So it's a hard sport to play for anybody who's underprivileged. The popularity of soccer is growing again, like exponentially. It is from 2019 to 2022. It's the only major sport in the entire country that the popularity is actually growing. Baseball is down 20%. Basketball is down 1%. Football is down 14%. And soccer is actually up 5%. So it's going up. And there's 2.2, like I said, 2.2 million kids on the ages 4 to 12 who are actually playing. It's even worse for ages 13 to 17. So football is down 8%, baseball is down 17%, basketball is down 1%, and soccer is up 8%. So soccer is the only one, again, getting more popular. You have 1.5 million kids that are of the ages 13 to 17 that still play it. U.S. girls sports it's a tough stat. Florida ranks in the bottom 3 for all girls playing any sport in the entire country. Bottom 3. It's a terrible stat. However, soccer ranks as the number 2 sport for girls and how they develop cognitive abilities and social skills. So we need to get them into soccer, more kids into soccer. Obviously, with me having 3 daughters, it's a big deal to me. Thankfully, the colleges offer more scholarships to women for soccer than they do to men due to Title IX. Actually, as compared to like D1 schools, they offer 14 scholarships for kids, for women, as compared to 9 for boys. Even though there's a lot, they usually put more money into the boys, the scholarships still go to the girls. It's actually 12,799 scholarships are given out each individual year. So we have a lot of obstacles, and I just mentioned a lot of them. It's mainly money. The exponential cost has increased exponentially for the goals, equipment, salaries, the training. Everything is increased ridiculous. The licensing required to be a coach is cost a fortune. The travel costs, obviously, you guys pay the same pump prices as we do, and the prices for hotels. It's crazy. And to ask a family who can't afford it to do it, it's impossible. So who fits the bill? Who can't? If we have a team out there of 15 kids who've got to go to a game, one parent can't afford to go. Well, we're gonna foot the bill for them to get them to get there. We have to get them there. We can't just have the team not have that player. That player can't just miss out. And then the main one is we're running out of field space. We're absolutely running out of field space. We have so many players now that want to play soccer that we have run out of time. We have run out of field space at our facility. We have 4 fields, and they are maxed out 3 days a week for recreation. For competitive side, 1 day a week for recreational side, and 3 days a week for academy. They're maxed out. So we have actually players out there that love to play the game. They're there until 9 o'clock at night and then go to school in the morning. So I mean, it's an intense game. But on top of that, we have problems with our lovely Florida weather. Our lovely Florida weather destroys our fields. And on top of all our kids with spikes digging through it, digging holes everywhere, the lovely Florida weather kills the grass really quickly. If we go through droughts, as I just had a conversation with Paul back in the corner over there, is that we did not have as much reclaimed water this year, so all the fields kind of died off. And when the fields die off, underneath is just sand. And kids start turning ankles, so starts turning their knees, tearing things up. So one of the solutions that the clubs in the area are going to, which is if we don't do it, we're going to be left behind, is they're moving to turf fields. Turf fields, as you see all the high schools in the area are putting them in. You see the big clubs are putting them in. If we don't put a turf field in soon, and what we've proposed is that we would put a turf field in on field 1, down in front of the concession stand. If you put a turf field in right there, you can have the ability to play year round, because during the summertime, you have to let the grass grow back essentially. And if it's too hot out there, the kids can't get out there anyway. So they rethaw, they reseed. And if we don't put the turf down, you're going to miss out on 3 months basically of soccer. And we have kids who want to play all the time. But the problem is, we don't have field space. So the turf field is an absolute necessity. And if I had this showed up here, I had actually sky views of our facility along with one of our competitors, their big club, when they put their turf fields in, and you would see the difference of just basically dark green where all the kids are playing versus brown and sand on ours. Because the city's doing a great job to give us enough water when they can, but there's nothing you can do with the Florida weather. So we've decided, we've talked over a couple of different ideas with the maintenance department, and they're in agreement to some degree. And I'm hoping that we can get the funding to put a turf field down, because it costs more money to maintain that field than it does to actually put a turf field in, and there's no maintenance for it for 7 to 8 years whatsoever. So we're asking for help to get us a turf field out there. The other thing is if you really wanted to be ahead of the game in this arena, you have to control the actual weather completely. And what I'm talking about is, if you've ever gone up north and seen any of the soccer facilities up there, they can't play year round. They can only play during when it's actually nice outside. They can't play in the wintertime. So what they do is they build a bubble over the top of it. And if you put a bubble over the top of it here, kids can play all the time. And you'll bring in, the kids can play 24/7, but you can bring in adult teams that can play all the time. You can do a lot more tournaments. You can bring in, professional teams will come and play. And you can be a destination as opposed to people just looking at Dunedin as, well, that's a golf community, or we have the best baseball fields. Great. We can be that destination if we had a bubble over the top of just one of our fields. So yeah, we'll talk about that. I will talk about that with anybody who wants to listen about putting that bubble over the top of it. So how can you help us? You can visit our complex. Come visit us. See what we do. We go and we talk to the kids constantly. You'll see. You can come by and watch all of our coaches and us all talking to everybody, trying to get those kids involved. Watching all those kids love the game. You can see. You can help us promote the Dunedin soccer community by telling your grandkids, your kids about us and how great we're doing over there. You can help sponsor us. We have a number of different sponsorship packages that we can do. Currently, we offer a number of different ones, including you can pay to put your logo across our chest. You can pay to put your logo on your back, on your shoulders. If you guys watch any of the professional soccer games out there, they're basically like a running advertisement. And those jerseys stay in those families' closets forever. They become the hand-me-downs, and they become like this symbol because all the kids love putting that crest on and that they played. And again, everybody tells me whenever I talk to them, who's ever played, has said, well, I used to play back then. And I know one of our coaches actually has a jersey from back when he played at Dunedin, back when he was 17 years old. So it sticks around. Those jerseys are walking advertisements. At the same time, also, we have the ability of we have a ton of fence space. So you can put banners up everywhere. What we ask is that there's a certain dollar amount, and it's like $400 to put a banner up, but that $400 pays for 4 kids to play. So we're just asking for very minimal amounts of money from people, and to try to help grow the community. There's also, everything is going to digital nowadays. So you'll see on soccer fields these cameras that go up on tripods that require to visualize and to record everything, so the coaches can see what is going on and helping the kids grow, but also grandma and grandpa in a different county or different state can watch their own kid play. So we have the ability of putting an advertisement on that that video. And so every video that we play will have your logo on it. But again, it helps grow those children's and they can go home. So imagine if you guys had that video of you scoring that goal back when you were kids, you still had that. Well, has the ability of doing that. You can't, it's not just a story, but you can't exaggerate anymore. Now there's actual proof. And then if you really want to just have like, if you had like grandkids who are 2 to 8 years old, we have academy programs where you can just advertise on the academy, just a basic t-shirt as opposed to the kids who play competitively. So we have all kinds of different aspects, and I would love to talk to each and every one of you if you are interested in helping us out, growing our scholarship program essentially. Now, again, we have $15,000 to give away in scholarships. We'd like that number to be upwards over 100 to get as many kids as possible in there. And I wish I would be able to show you my contact information, but I can't. So if you'd like to stop by, you can talk to me or Danny back in the corner over here. And I'd be love to talk to you guys. Thank you very much. If anybody has a question, all right.
So, I'm curious because I heard about.
Yeah.
So, if, let's say like a South State or somebody, a company, and sponsor that bubble, would they have the opportunity to advertise it as the so-and-so bubble? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Be a blank canvas.
Let's put that out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can.
Say, we're gonna be playing at the so-and-so bubble.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To answer that question for you, it actually is one of the huge selling points. Like when we looked at different quotes and we looked at different ventures, they literally advertise it as the dome becomes your campus.
Yeah.
Because you can advertise on the outside of it and so arena, or it could become, a stable center for that. There's lots of possibility. Obviously, it's air conditioned, so again, like Jason said, it would be a great opportunity, and it would be a state-of-the-art facility. In Pinellas County, no one else has a bubble. And so, the other thing that Jason, we have it in the presentation as well, and we shared. The other thing why that is also important to us is there is a TOPS program, soccer TOPS program. What that is a program for kids with disabilities. We currently don't feel confident that our fields are in a condition where we can allow kids with disabilities to come onto the fields because the fields are very uneven. So if a kid with a disability comes out there with setting goal, that's not what we want. You take that completely away by having to review. So now we're not excluding anyone, right? We can offer opportunities to kids with any disability or with any condition, right? And for us, it's really about, that's why we're striving so hard to become the first club that goes away from that big first structure. It's incredibly, it seems impossible, but like if you don't aim high, what's the point, right? And in the end, again, it's Jason's kids, it's my kids. Like, how hard is it? Because we want our kids
And by the way, we are all volunteers at the club. We don't get paid. So he knows it. I get paid. That's a lot of hours. Hello, sir.
Old guy who played soccer 50 years ago when there was no club soccer and it was all in the school system.
Yep.
So why did club soccer take over the development of kids in soccer? Are there still high school teams? Do high school teams, if there are still high school teams, do they compete for players with the club?
So that's a multifaceted question. And that would take a while to explain, but there are high school teams. There are definitely high school teams. Half of our kids do play on the high school team here at Dunedin here at the high school, and they play at a high level. In fact, I was talking to the vice president last night, Mr. Settle. We were talking about how great a couple of our players are playing on that team. They're freshmen, sophomore, and bringing them to right now. The boys are playing in districts, and the girls are actually ranked number 25 in the state now. Coming from the captain plays is actually a member of our board's daughter. So yes, there definitely is high school program. As you get older, what how the system works is they tell you can't. They stop the season for the competitive side, They stopped the season for high school, not high school play. Now, I grew up in St. Louis. It was all schools, nothing but schools. Clubs were smaller then, but now like down here, they focus more on the club atmosphere because we have the ability of playing year round here, up as opposed to up north.
You know, high school season will be about 3.5 months. And so, and then there's really, the high school doesn't offer anything beyond that. Because they offer other sports. They can swim in fall, and then in spring they can play soccer. Beyond that, there's also, that's why I love and it's also, there's so many kids that try out for high school soccer and don't get chosen. You only have a squad of like 18 on the roster. So it's very limited. Think about a school that carries, 600 students and it's one grade. It makes it damn near impossible to be chosen for one of those 18 spots.
So how does the injury safety compare with soccer and football?
Soccer's way less a problem as football, that's for sure, obviously. So injuries do occur out there. The main one that I hear about is the torn ACL, your knee or whatever, but that's mainly when kids do bump together out there. Concussions are not a problem. However, concussions are a problem. But the soccer community has come together and said, no, if you ever even come close to even thinking about having a concussion, they bump your head or whatever, you sit down for a long period of time, go to the doctor, you have to get signed off on and come back. That's a big deal with the soccer community because those kids are constantly running around banging against each other. But it's not a head-to-head contact thing. You are heading the ball, but nobody's really getting a concussion from heading the ball because they've practiced and trained on how to head it exactly right. And the only kids who get a concussion from that are ones who don't know how to do it. So to answer your question, there are plenty of injuries. It just if you have a turf field, you're going to limit the injuries a lot more because the ground will be completely level. You won't go into the sand and you won't turn your ankle or anything like that. The injuries are an issue, but they aren't as bad. I mean, baseball has got just about the same thing you'll see out there. It's about the equivalent of baseball. Any more?
One thing for you, my daughter played there years ago, and I did my tour with the board of record there too. You're right, I still have the jerseys.
It's a sense of pride. Thank you all very much. Me and Danny are around. I've got cards over there on the table if you don't get a chance to talk to me. But yeah, I'd love to. Thank you for being part.
Jason, Danny, thank you for sharing so much information on what a wonderful treasure, a resource in this community. So thank you for coming here and presenting to us.